Hey guys, what's up? It's me, SamsLoad33 here, and welcome to the show about Pokemon TCG stuff, mix-up, and today I'll be talking about my states report. I went to 3 states, all 3 of the weekends that you're allowed to go to, and yeah, watch the report and find out how I did. The reason I'm wearing this hat is just because I haven't worn this hat in a while, and it's kind of stuck on my head. So yeah. Without any further ado, because there's nothing much to talk about, on to the report. Go. Just watch it. Stop looking at me and go watch the friggin' report. So, the 3 weeks of states have passed, and I must say, I performed quite well at states, compared to the rest of my season at least. States has to be one of my favorite tournaments of the season. It's not as demanding as Battle Roads and Cities, but events like Regionals and Nationals don't cut you any slack for screwing up and predicting the metagame. For the first week of states, I thought the metagame would be similar to last regionals, which was filled with Blastoise and Darkrai, and Ho-Oh, but Ho-Oh is considered dead to most people. And what a coincidence! The deck I'd been testing since the release of Plasma Storm has a favorable matchup against both of those decks, that deck being Plasma Klinklang. I also thought Klinklang had some of the most solid matchups against the game altogether. I don't mind Victini and Moltres very much, and the only really bad matchups for this deck are Garbodor and Rayeels, both of which are nearly unheard of in my area. So off to Pennsylvania states we go. I gave my mother a Darkrai Lasers Hammers deck to play, which did not go very well. But anyway, I would show you my list, but I didn't write it down, and my list has changed since then. So yeah. My deck included Keldeo EX with Blend Energy, a Pokemon Center to get rid of Burbank City Gyms, a 2-2 split of Plasma Klinklang and Shiftier Klinklang, and my ace deck of choice was Dowsing Machine. On to the report. There were 5 rounds, a top 4 cut. I waited way too long to write this report, so the games aren't going to be very detailed. Round 1 was against Vincent with Darkrai Lasers, me going second. When it came around to my turn, I could only get 1 Klink out. On his turn, he sets up his Darkrai and ends, but misses the catcher to KO my only Klink, and he has to Night Spear my Cabal in EX. I get a Plasma Klinklang out, and it all goes downhill for him. Later in the game, we are the only match still in progress, so the judge is spectating the game. I have a Keldeo on the bench with 140 damage on it. He Night Spears my non-EX Cavalion and KOs the Keldeo. But after he took his prizes, I remembered that I used Iron Breaker that turn, so the Darkrai couldn't attack. Thankfully, the judge saw his hand earlier and knew what his prizes were. But he could have set up a new Darkrai that turn to do the attack, but he wasted the resources already. Oops. By this point, I have 4 prizes to his 6. I send up Cabal on EX and Steel Bullet his Darkrai to knock it out. On his turn, time gets called. He uses Hypnotoxic Laser on like a Cavalion and gets a heads. He can't pull off Night Spear, so he passes. I flip Tails on the Sleep Flip, and the Cavalion is at 150. On my turn, turn 2 of time, I Skyla, but my last switch and my Pokemon Center are my last 2 prizes, so he's going to get a 4 prize turn. I have no idea why I didn't rush in to save the Cavalion, but whatevs. I shift gear the energy off and pass, him taking 2 prizes. On his turn, turn 3, he Night Spears and KOs the Keldeo on the bench, tying the game up and going into sudden death. All I can do is Iron Breaker the Darkrai. On his turn, he retreats to Sableye, pretty much securing the game for me, since I only need 1 prize to win sudden death. He then plays Bianca, decking himself out. It didn't seem like he knew he'd deck out, so I don't know. He can't do anything, so I take the win. He was really sad about the game. I tried to tell him that everyone makes mistakes, and that I make mistakes all the time, but his dad was talking to him, and the judge wanted me to hurry up and put in the match clip. So I didn't have the time. Sorry, Vincent. 1-0. Round 2 was against Eli with Darkrai, Mewtwo, Buffalo, and Tornadus. He can't really do much, so I sweep with Cavalion EX. 2-0. Round 3 was against Ishan with Tornadus Landorus. He gets a good start with Tornadus EX, DCE Burbank, and KO some Klinks, and I'm able to get a Plasma Klinklang out. He gets a Buffalon set up in 1 turn with DCE Energy Switch, but I simply Steel Bullet it and knock it out. He doesn't seem to have any other non-EX attackers, and I'm able to win. 3-0. Wow, I actually beat Ishan. Who could I possibly face after that? Round 4 is against Orin with Garbodor, Landorus, Trachean EX. Well, you can probably tell what happens now. Good player plus Garbodor equals Klinklang losing. I'm not running Tool Scrapper, so I'm pretty much out of luck. I get my Plasma Klinklang out fast, but not fast enough, as there's already a Garbodor out getting its Garbotoxins everywhere. By the way, Garbodor is kind of disgusting. He uses Landorus to do the attacking, so I manually power up a Keldeo EX with 2 blends and Secret Sword his Landorus for the knockout. He just uses Trapking EX and pop-up smashes, attaching 1 energy to a Landorus, I think. I can't catch the Landorus, so I'm forced to waste this Keldeo. I just can't get anything else going, and he overpowers me. 3-1. Round 5 is against Kieran with Darkrai Lasers. I don't remember much of this game, but it goes to sudden death, 2 prizes left, after a Cobalion EX of mine gets KO'd by poison damage going into his turn. I send in a regular Cobalion. I don't think he can do much, so I catch our Sableye and Iron Break it for the KO. 4-1. There are some 4-1s that didn't make it, one of them being Orin, because he was late to register, so he automatically gets the worst resistance of his respective ranking. Kinda sucks, honestly. But thankfully, I'm in at 2nd seed, having the top resistance of the 4-1s. My opponent is Ishan again, so this should be easy. Right? Game 1 I go first, starting Keldeo. I get a Klink out, attach the Keldeo, and not much else. I do have the Klinklang in my hand though. He started Tornadus, so he plays Burbank, Catcher, DCE, and KOs the Klink. I seem to get a Klink every turn, but no supporters or anything else to go with it, and he just keeps capturing them. I eventually draw a Cobalion EX, but I can't even attach to that and Righteous Edge's double Corliss array. Nothing I can do. 0-1. Game 2 I go first, I'm able to get a Klinklang out, and he really has no response. 1-1. Game 3, he gets to go first, and he donks my Klink. What a lame series. Losing to one of my best matchups due to dead draws and donks. But I snagged myself 70 championship points, some packs, a playmat, a binder, a hat, and the all-important trophy. Better than what I was expecting, but a little disappointing at the same time. Next is Delaware State, my home state. I decided to play Klinklang again, since the deck that won Pennsylvania was Ishan's Big Basics deck, and since Big Basics won, I thought Garbodor probably wouldn't be very popular. But just in case, I added 2 Tool Scrapper in, since really, most of your other matchups can be won by simply getting a Klinklang out. I don't want to take up much more time talking about my list, so I'll just put a link to it in the description. On to the actual event. There were only 14 seniors with 4 rounds and a top 2. Stupid Maryland taking our seniors away. Round 1 was against someone I can't remember with a scrub deck. If not for my type advantage on his Kyurem, I would have been in some serious trouble. 1-0. Round 2 is against Chris with Articuno Garbodor. I'm not exactly sure what to think of this. Garbodor is a pain, but Articuno is a joke to Klinklang. He goes first with Articuno to my Cobalion EX. He has to tune for away a Plasma Energy, but he gets a Trubbish, a Plasma Frigate, an Eviolite onto the active, a Water, and 2 Colorless Machines for a turn 1 Blizzard. I get some Klinks out and Righteous Edge his Plasmas away. We both forgot about the Plasma Frigate, so he's got 40 on him now. Don't worry, we remember it soon after. He gets his Garbodor, I get my Klinklang. He takes some prizes on a Klink and a Cobalion EX, and goes down to 3 prizes. I end him, Tool Scrap for his Garbodor and a benched Articuno's Eviolite. I would have knocked out the active Articuno with Cobalion NV, but there was an Eviolite hidden behind the active Articuno, so it's at 160 instead. Sad face. He can't get a tool for Garbodor, or many more Articunos out, so he retreats to another Articuno and passes. I can't remember much else of this game, but it gets down to 1 prize each. He Junipers and needs a Rescue Scarf to KO my last Cobalion, but it turns out it was prize, so I catch up his damaged Articuno from my last prize. Good game, Chris. 2-0. Round 3 was against someone I can't remember with a Big Basics deck. I go first, my Cobalion NV to his Tornadus EX and Bouffalon. I have a turn 2 Klinklang in hand, but only 1 Klink, so I capture the Bouffalon and pass. He just has to Skyla for an N and passes. From there, I'm able to set up and take out his Bouffalon before it gets powered up. He tries catcher stalling my Shiftgear's Klinklang and lasering it, but I eventually run him out of resources and he can't do much, and eventually decking himself out. Yes! 3-0. Round 4 is against Ishan with Garbodor. Great, but at least we're the only 3-0s at this point, and we'll probably make it into top 2. No! I'm not saying that. Every time I say that, I end up bubbling, so I'll just shut up. I pretty much draw dead the whole game, ironically. My hand is filled with Tool Scrappers that I will end up going to waste. His Landorus just wrecks my field and I can't power up the Keldeo, since he's got a Mewtwo ready to destroy it. Oh well, probably doesn't matter anyway. 3-1. So I end up in 3rd place. Yup, I knew it! I always bubble. No matter how well I do, I end up bubbling somehow. Well, at least I got the 70 championship points. When you're me, you can't really ask for much better than that. So now it's time for New Jersey states, with Garbodor winning both Delaware and Maryland states. Klinklang wasn't really an option for me anymore. So I decided to play a Big Basic deck. But not just any Big Basic deck. The deck was mostly Tornadus EX focused, since it's usually the best attacker against Garbodor decks. This included 3 Tornadus, 3 Burbank, and Computer Search. The deck featured the standard Landers and Mewtwo, but I swapped out some fighting energy to include Prism Energy, as well as Cobalion EX, V-Grade Victini, and Keldeo EX. Cobalion EX's Righteous Edge is actually really solid against big basic decks, especially Tornadus and Mewtwo, as you can get rid of their double colorless. Tornadus was one of my biggest worries, that's why I included Cobalion. I wasn't expecting much Klinklang, but if I didn't include Victini, Bouffalant was my only other answer to Klinklang, and Bouffalant really is terrible against Klinklang for several reasons, so Victini was my choice of non-EX attacker. The Keldeo was not meant to do any attacking, even though it could do some decent damage to Landers with a Prism and DCE. No, the reason it's in this deck is to rush in and switch to get out of special conditions. New Jersey States is quite a bit farther than Pennsylvania and Delaware, so it's time to sit in the car for 3 hours. I bought half a dozen bagels from Dunkin' Donuts, and that pretty much fed me the whole day. But enough talk about bagels, we're here for Pokemon tournaments! Round 1 was against Brian with Rails. I have a great hand, Mewtwo, Burbank, DCE, Computer Search, and a Bianca. I go first, he starts Lone Moga. Yup, 1-0. Round 2 is against Noah with a Klinklang deck. Well, great. He starts a Klink to my Tornadus EX. He wins the coin flip and gets to go first. He gets 2 Klinks out and Skylos for a rare candy, attaching it to the bench Klink and passing. I have a horrible hand filled with Pokemon and energy, none of which being double colorless. I bench my Victini, attach a Fighting to it, and pass. I could have attached a Prism to it instead, but if he got a Cobalion EX out, he could Righteous Edge that Prism away, which would pretty much prevent me from winning the game. He rare candies into a Plasma Klinklang, attaches Junipers, gets his Shift Gear Klinklang into play, then benches a Mewtwo EX and passes. I still have nothing, so I attach the Victini again and pass. He attaches another energy, Shift Gears to his Shift Gear Klinklang, catches my Victini and Gear Grinds, hitting the first hit. I'd just like to point out how completely YOLO that move was. If he got Tails, I could have top-decked a supporter and got enough basics, and all of his energy would have been gone. Anyway, I still have nothing, so I attach a Fighting to Tornadus and pass. He ends... Okay. He switches his Klinklang into Mewtwo, attaches to it, and X-Balls for 100. I draw Mewtwo off the end, but with the double Carlos energy, so I have to pass. He attaches another energy, catches the Mewtwo, and X-Balls it for KO. I get another Mewtwo, but with the DCE again. He catches it and KOs it. I'm now out of Mewtwo, so there's not much hope for me. He also gets like a Cobalion EX into play and starts using that to attack, so I don't have any hope, really. 1-1. Round 3 was against Gary, I think, with Garbodor, Landers, Mewtwo. I start Victini to his Landers EX, me winning the coin flip. My hand is, after he mulliganed once, 2 lasers, 2 DCE, 2 prisms, 1 fighting, and 1 energy search. Okay! I don't even attach just in case he can get a Mewtwo donk, so... pass. He plays Burbank, Laser, plays the Mewtwo, Junipers, whiffs the DCE, but he gets a fighting and Hammerheads. I top deck Juniper! Holy crap, I've got a shot at this game. During the excitement, I forgot to energy search to check my deck. I draw Tornadus, DCE, Switch, but no supporter, or other Pokemon. You can guess what I do with them. Spoiler, it ends with me doing Blow Through. He attaches to his active Landorus and Hammerheads for 10, knocking out the Victini. I top deck a Juniper again. To be honest, I don't remember much else of this game, but I get an Eviolite on that Tornadus, and I run really low on energy from Junipering all those at the beginning. So I pretty much need to use this one Tornadus to do all my damage. He mostly has to catch you around this Tornadus and Hammerhead it for 10. He gets one big hit with Mewtwo, but I can take it out pretty quickly. There's a moment where I have a Juniper in my hand, and I need an energy to attach to my Tornadus, but I top deck my last DCE, so I have to give my Tornadus 2 double Carlos energy. The prizes get to 1 and 2, his lead, and my Tornadus is still only at 80 damage. He has 100, 2 energy, and an Eviolite on his Landorus, and no bench Pokemon. But he can't get an energy. I only had 1 energy left in my deck and no lasers, and I probably couldn't win Hammerheading for 10 on his Landorus with Eviolite. I Juniper, get my last energy for the game. And what a game that was. That one will be passed down through the ages. 2-1. Round 4 is against Yuki with Darkrai lasers. Here's another fun one. I start Tornadus to his Sableye and Darkrai, him going first. He gets a pretty standard turn 1, plays a Burbank, some other stuff, and Junk Hunts. My hand is really bad, so I just attach a fighting and pass. He can't get a turn 2 Night Spirit, so he plays another Darkrai, Laser, and Junk Hunts again. I draw an N, but with a basic Pokemon, so I attach a double Colorless, play a Laser, and KO the Sableye. He has a Darkrai with 1 energy and Dark Claw, and a Darkrai with no energy. He sends up the one with no energy, attaches to the bench one, Dark Patches, and plays a switch. That plus the 60 from Laser is enough to knock out my Tornadus, benching me. What a day it has been so far. 2-2. Round 5 is against Jeremy with Empoleon Selgor. You might remember Jeremy from my Cities report. He's an awesome guy, and I know him from Poke Beach as well. I can't remember much of this game, but I know I wasn't able to attach much energy or get many KOs on his Pokemon before they evolved, and I end up losing. 2-3. There was a funny moment in this match where I accidentally grabbed a Bianca from my hand and played it instead of another card I wanted to play before the Bianca, but I had more than 6 cards in my hand, so no harm done. Round 6 was against someone I can't remember with Dark Lasers. This guy was a much newer player, and he wasn't exactly playing very well. Starting Landers and going first was just like a kick in the face to him. If you couldn't tell, I won. 3-3. So not the greatest day. Maybe if I hadn't faced that classic Klinklang early on and kept facing all the Garbodors that ended up doing well, there were 5 in top 8, I could have had a shot. Not being benched turn 3 would have also helped. So going into regionals, oh, by the way, I'm going to regionals in Massachusetts this April. I'm struggling and want to play for the event. I've been trying out a few rogue decks and some main archetypes, and I'm really not sure what the play will be. Blastoise was the other well-performing deck at the event, and not many decks have good matchups against Garbodor and Blastoise. So who knows what the play will be for that event. So that's my states run for you. Kind of good for me, but kind of also disappointing at the same time. And for those of you who don't believe me, well, then why do I have 2 states trophies that say semifinalists on them? What? Think I stole them from someone? That's ridiculous. How would I be able to find out who got top 4 at states? Crazies. But anyway, yeah. For next episode, not next week, because it'll probably be in 2 weeks, I'll be talking about another card. Not one of the ones that I said I'd be talking about in the 6 cards that I had ideas for episodes. This one's probably going to be on Manaphy from the set, because that's one I actually have a reason to test with. The other ones are more kind of gimmicky, but Manaphy is actually kind of, you know, kind of good. A little bit. Just a little bit. I don't know what that was. And for those of you wondering why I'm wearing this hat, it's because I was wearing a different hat in the intro, but none of you realized that at all. Yeah, totally tricked you guys. So yeah, as I said, I'll be going to regionals in Massachusetts, which is in 2 weeks, and that is going to be a pretty long drive, and I don't know what to think of it. Yeah, I'm really not sure what to do with that event. It's kind of hard to know what the metagame is going to be like. So, until then, I guess I'll see you guys for more Pokemon TCG stuff in the future. Later. Oh, well, I guess I should talk about this. This has been up for a while, but I actually have started not really started, but I've been part of another co-op channel called the Quads, or the Quadruplets, which is a co-op channel between me and a few other friends of mine. So check that out. There should be a link in the description. I made a video about it, but just in case you guys missed that video, here's another chance for you to check out the channel. We've got a couple games up there now. I have one game I've commentated over, and I should have some more coming soon. So thanks for watching. See you guys next time. For real this time. Later.